I'm just doing very basic stretches and every time with the trucks. Hello Snack Pack, welcome back to Travel Snacks. Today's episode will give you an update of what took me off the road and out of van life. In today's video, I'll give you an update to this video and let you know what was wrong with Simon the van, and to give you an update to this video, which ended with me going to the hospital. These videos were filmed back in July of 2021, so a lot of things have happened since then, so let's get right to it. This video is going to make a lot more sense if you go back and watch the videos that I mentioned in the intro. About 8 hours into the first day of driving back to California, I was driving along and Simon the van just started decelerating, and I would put my foot on the gas and nothing would happen. I had to pull over onto the side of the freeway and I didn't know what was wrong. When I got back to California, I took it to the mechanic that my parents use, and he said that most likely it was this little pluggy thing with the wires, and I didn't take a video of it beforehand, but those wires were all frayed, and it's probably from when we were building the van in the desert. There's a lot of mice and they chew on wires in your engine. So before I left, they were already a little bit frayed, but apparently along the journey, they just got worse and worse and probably got disconnected and something happened. I really don't know what this plug is called. I really don't know what it's for. I probably should have did a little more research or asked the mechanic, but at that point I just wanted to get it taken care of and over with so that I could get back into the van and on the road. So if you know what this plug is and what it's for, drop it in the comments. On the drive back to California, my back was hurting so bad, especially on my right side. It was super painful and the whole right side started to become numb. So by the time I got to the hospital, they checked me in, sat me down in a regular old chair. They pushed morphine into the IV. I'm a pretty sensitive person when it comes to medications, so when they said they were going to give me morphine, I was a little concerned, but I thought they would put me in a bed, but no. Right away, I felt super drugged out, and I was actually kind of falling over in the chair, and I looked around and there was a couple other people that they had did the same thing to, so it looked like a bunch of zombies just sitting in the hospital in regular chairs. It was really crazy and very uncomfortable, and the nurse asked how I was doing, and I was like, I feel really dizzy, and he's like, oh, that'll fade, that'll pass. It didn't. I felt super loopy the whole time. Finally, they took me over to the x-ray area. They did give me a CT scan. I was still in a little bit of pain, but because of the morphine, I really wasn't able to even think about it. And so finally the doctor came out and she said they couldn't find anything. And I was like, well, it's clearly something because my back is really hurting. And she said that most likely it was probably a pinched nerve. She said they could either prescribe me muscle relaxers or painkillers, but not both. So I was like, I guess I'll take the muscle relaxers. I don't know. And then she said to follow up with my regular doctor. My regular doctor said she wanted to put me on prednisone, which is a steroid. And I don't think I've ever taken that. So I started taking the prednisone and it was awful. It made me feel super drugged out. For the 5 or 6 days that I was on it, I felt like a zombie. I couldn't even function. Every time I would try to read my Bible or edit or do anything that had to do with concentrating on anything, I would just nod off, fall asleep, or just feel kind of dizzy, and I couldn't even focus. I had to close my eyes and lay down. It took a lot of effort not to nod off on all those pills. But you know what's not a lot of effort? To become part of the Snack Pack. All you gotta do is hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, throw a like on it, and keep watching until the end so you know how I'm doing as of today. I said for sciatica, it's good to put a pillow between your knees, so align the spine and try to lay as straight as possible while icing the back, which is completely numb already. I feel really like loopy, and this is from one prednisone. I didn't even take my half of a muscle relaxer today. My heart is pounding and I'm just like, yeah. Now I've been alternating between heat and ice 2 times a day for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I just couldn't wait for the day that I could get off the prednisone, but the day I took my last pill, I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't know that when you come off of prednisone, even sometimes if it's just a short stint on prednisone, that you have some reactions to it. And of course, because I'm sensitive, I did have some reactions to it and I really felt terrible. I basically just had to ride it out. From then on, I was still in pain, but I started to just look online for different stretches and exercises until I could see my regular doctor. I learned a lot from Googling different stretches. I learned that if you have a bad lower back, you shouldn't be just doing the one where you bend all the way over, because you're putting pressure or friction on the bones or whatever that are already injured. So there's some specific things that you can do to start loosening up or decompressing your spine. The doctor also said that by looking at my x-ray that I had osteoarthritis in my lumbar area, and when she did an exam on the table, she noticed that one leg was longer than the other, and probably because my hips were out of alignment. She took a red pen and marked the difference between the heels, so showing me how much longer one leg was from the other, which makes sense because every time I walked, it would feel like I was uneven. She said that she would set me up with physical therapy, but until then, I just started doing some really short, basic walks. Okay, so it's been about 2 weeks since I was in the hospital for a pinched nerve. I finished all my drugs and I'm taking it the most easy because I don't want to re-inflame or injure my back. I'm just doing very basic stretches and every time with the drugs. I'm so glad I'm not on the drugs anymore because it was making me feel super loopy, but I still feel a little bit out of sorts, but a little bit better now. So I'm just trying to get out in the sun. It is super hot already in the Palm Springs area. It's 8 a.m. and it's already almost 90 degrees. So after the hospital and after I went to my doctor and was on the prednisone and all the stuff, that was about 3 weeks out of my van. And the reason I couldn't stay in my van during that time is because my main doctor is in the desert and it was about 115 degrees outside. And I'm not just saying like the number over 100. It actually was over 100 degrees, close to 115, 120 every day. And my van was just suffocatingly hot. But after I saw my doctor and she said I could have physical therapy, I asked her if I could do it in San Diego so I would be in a cool environment. So it's now September. I'm 5 weeks into physical therapy. I've been back in my van for quite a while, over by the beach. I'm getting better every day. I'm still not 100%, but with the stretches they've shown me, I'm able to do them in the morning, in the evening, and sometimes in the middle of the day to break up the driving and the sitting to edit all day. I appreciate so much those of you that have checked up on me, and many of you have asked me what I'm doing to help my back get better. So I'll be doing a follow-up video on that after I'm done with physical therapy to show you the stretches and things that I've been doing and how I've modified it for van life, because a lot of you are doing different type of living situations, car life, van life, RV life, and things like that. So stay tuned for those videos and thank you for all the prayers. Today's episode is now we're in where are we? What month are we in? And now we're in September, and so a lot of things have, and I came all the way and I drove 10 hours and I drove what? And then within a few minutes I'm a pretty, so when they said morphine, I was a little bit, but the day that I stopped, now here we are in September's, now here we, and it's now September. Putting that same, because it's basically exerting, what? I can't even know what to say. Snack time.